You for being with us. And Samuel, let me start with you. As I said, 8 months of war has left thousands of people dead, at least 2 million people displaced, and hundreds of thousands facing famine right now. So take us back. How did this crisis start?
Well, it started last year in November. There was lots of accusation going back and forth between the Ethiopian side and the TPLF, who started it and what happened. And it was supposed to end in December, according to the Prime Minister, but it has continued. We visited the area allowed by the Ethiopian government, and we've seen the impact this conflict has had on the people of Tigray, where a majority of them are facing, 91% of the population are facing food emergency, and about 900,000 people are facing starvation. So it is a conflict that began and was supposed to end and is still continuing, and we're approaching its first year in November.
So Samuel, this part of the country, this province, Tigray, is it cut off from the rest of the country right now?
Well, it's in the northern part. They've been having all kinds of back and forth between Addis Ababa and Mekelle. Again, when I visited Tigray, it felt to me like I was visiting a different country. And the impact, I mean, I like to focus on the humanitarian aspect of it. It's just as painful as you can find anywhere. And to those of us who lived during the Ethiopian famine, it's a reminder that Ethiopia might be heading to the famine that defined it for a long, long time.
Well, that was a disappointing answer from Samuel, and I do not believe so far who started the war has been in dispute. The TPLF started the war, and you don't have to take it from me. There are multiple sources that state as such, and I'll try to bring up one article for you to see. But on a humanitarian issue, and I believe Samuel got the point. Got a point, and the conflict has shattered many lives, and many of us has spent many days in agony just seeing how the conflict progressed, and I can barely imagine how the people in the conflict don't experienced. So, and it personally angers me that our politician has to resort to a conflict to reach their political objective. But yet again, the claim that Tigray is cut off from the rest of Ethiopia is not true. There is heavily restricted movement, that is true. And just the other day, the federal government gave permission to aid agencies to fly in their supplies.
This is a battle between Ethiopian federal forces and rebels in Tigray. What do the rebel forces want? What's their goal?
I think we need to step back a little bit and to really get to what that led to where we are right now. I think there are two competing vision, if you want, for Ethiopia. The TPLF would want a decentralized state, but Abiy and people who support him, they want a fairly centralized state. And their argument is that will foster unity. However, until 1991 and then 1994, when the constitution was passed, Ethiopia was practically ruled from the center. In some regions, this is the first time that they'd used their mother tongue as a language of instruction, as a language of business, is after this constitution was passed. And so therefore, that is, the crux of the matter in Ethiopia right now. For the rebels, they said very clearly when Abiy, as part of centralization of the state, said that, the TPLF, which was part of a four-way coalition, should be dissolved, the TPLF said we are not going to dissolve our party. So the other three parties folded and they formed the Prosperity Party. And so the idea that, the argument has always been that, the trigger was the TPLF attacking the military base in the north, the northern command. That was just essentially a trigger. Before that, there has been a massing of military and militia within the border of Tigray region, as well as the military from Eritrea. So therefore, what the TPLF is saying is we do not want to be governed as such. We want to be part of a decentralized state. And that is where I think the biggest problem is. And if you see some of the demands that they have made as part of the ceasefire, those are some of they still speak in that regard.
Abdullahi, just clarify the situation here. So the TPLF, what they're saying, well, they've been cut out of the political process right now, so they want more autonomy, but nothing close to independence, right?
I think also, again, if we get back to the Constitution allows for secession, but the threshold is fairly high. So if the current political differences is growing, and both sides do not want to, look at this as, find a political solution, that is where we would potentially go. As it is right now, there are three, main steps that need to happen in order for us to probably get there. One is an impeded humanitarian access, which TPLF is calling for. And the second is really, mutual recognition of both Mekelle and Addis. And the third probably is, to go into a political settlement, and that can take different forms.
And I'm perplexed to understand the claim that Abiy administration wanted to centralize power, because it's yet to be proven. Not even one right that was guaranteed under the Constitution for states was taken away under the current administration. And so far, we have seen Sidama became statehood under Abiy administration, and it looks like we will get another state, 11 states. And I'll try to find a Wikipedia search for you guys to see that I'm not making it up. But the narrative that the current federal government is centralizing power is a false pretext for the TPLF to start a war and topple the federal government. And if the current administration is trying to centralize power, could have done the same thing as the TPLF did. Ignore localities and suppress requests for statehood.